James Fiennes, 1st Baron Saye and Sele, was an English soldier and politician. He was born at Hurstmonceux, Sussex, the second son of Sir William Fiennes and his wife Elizabeth Battisford. Fiennes fought in the 100 Years' War and served as High Sheriff of Kent in 1436 and High Sheriff of Surrey and Sussex in 1438. He was Constable of Dover Castle and Warden of the Cinque Ports from 1447 to 1450, and Lord High Treasurer of England from 1449 to 1450. Fiennes' tenure as Lord High Treasurer occurred during the Great Bullion Famine and the Great Slump in England. He was summoned to Parliament from 1446 to 1449 and is said to have been created Baron Saye and Sele by letters patent in 1447. Saye and Sele was a supporter of William de la Pole, 1st Duke of Suffolk, the principal power behind the throne of Henry VI. After Suffolk's deposition and murder in 1450, Fiennes was imprisoned in the Tower with his son-in-law William Cromer, Deputy Sheriff of Kent. Having been released from the Tower and handed over to the rebels as a placatory gesture, Baron Saye was brought to Guildhall for a sham trial. Upon being found guilty of treason, he was paraded through part of London and beheaded by a mob of the rebels in London under Jack Cade at the Standard in Cheapside on July 4, 1450. His son-in-law was also executed by the rebels outside the city walls on the same day. The heads of the two men were put on pikes and unceremoniously paraded through the streets of London while their bearers pushed them together so that they appeared to kiss. He was succeeded in the barony by his son William. Early life and family. Fiennes was born in Ipswich, England on December 22, 1962. He is the eldest child of Mark Fiennes, a farmer and photographer, and Jennifer Lash, a writer. He has English, Irish, and Scottish ancestry. His surname is of Norman origin. His grandfathers were industrialist Sir Maurice Fiennes and British Indian Army officer Henry Allen Lash. He is the eldest of 6 children. His siblings are actor Joseph Fiennes, Martha Fiennes, a director, Magnus Fiennes, a composer, Sophie Fiennes, a filmmaker, and Jacob Fiennes, a conservationist. His foster brother, Michael Emery, is an archaeologist. His nephew, Hero Fiennes Tiffin, played Tom Riddle, young Lord Voldemort, in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. The Fiennes family moved to Ireland in 1973, living in County Cork and County Kilkenny for some years. Fiennes was educated at St. Kieran's College for 1 year, followed by Newtown School, a Quaker independent school in County Waterford. They moved to Salisbury in England, where Fiennes finished his schooling at Bishop Wordsworth's School. He went on to pursue painting at Chelsea College of Arts before deciding that acting was his true passion. Career. Early work. Fiennes trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art between 1983 and 1985. He began his career at the Open Air Theatre, Regent's Park, and also at the National Theatre before achieving prominence at the Royal Shakespeare Company. Fiennes first worked on screen in 1990 and made his film debut in 1992 as Heathcliff in Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights opposite Juliette Binoche. 1990s. 1993 was his breakout year. He had a major role in Peter Greenaway's film The Baby of Macon with Julia Ormond, which provoked controversy and was poorly received. Later that year, he became known internationally for portraying the brutal Nazi concentration camp commandant Amon Goth in Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List. For this, he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. He did not win the Oscar, but did win the Best Supporting Actor BAFTA Award for the role. His portrayal of Goth also saw him listed at number 15 on the AFI's list of the top 50 film villains. Fiennes gained weight to represent Goth, but shed it afterwards. Fiennes later stated that playing the role had a profoundly disturbing effect on him. In a subsequent interview, Fiennes recalled, "Evil is cumulative. It happens. People believe that they've got to do a job, they've got to take on an ideology, that they've got a life to lead, they've got to survive, a job to do. It's every day inch by inch, little compromises, little ways of telling yourself this is how you should lead your life, and suddenly then these things can happen. I mean, I could make a judgment myself privately, this is a terrible, evil, horrific man. But the job was to portray the man, the human being. There's a sort of banality, that everydayness, that I think was important. And it was in the screenplay. In fact, one of the first scenes with Oskar Schindler, with Liam Neeson, was a scene where I'm saying, you don't understand how hard it is, I have to order so many meters of barbed wire and so many fencing posts, and I have to get so many people from A to B. And, you know, he's sort of letting off steam about the difficulties of the job. In 1994, he portrayed American academic Charles Van Doren in Quiz Show. In 1996, he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor for the epic World War II romance The English Patient, in which he starred with Kristen Scott Thomas. Fiennes's film work has encompassed a variety of genres, including thrillers, an animated biblical epic, camp nostalgia, romantic comedy, and historical drama. In 1999, Fiennes had the title role in One Again, a film which he also helped produce. His sister Martha Fiennes directed, and brother Magnus composed the score. Fiennes portrayed Francis Dolarhyde in the 2002 film, Red Dragon, a prequel to The Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal. Fiennes's performance as a sympathetic serial killer with a romantic relationship with a blind girl, played by Emily Watson, was praised, with film critic David Starrett writing, "Ralph Fiennes is scarily good as fellow lunatic." 2000s. In 2005, Fiennes starred in Fernando Meirelles' The Constant Gardener, acting alongside Rachel Weisz. The film is set in Kenya. It was filmed in part with the actual residents of the slums of Kibera and Loyangalani. The film received critical acclaim, in particular for Fiennes and Weisz's performances. He received a British Academy Film Award nomination for Best Actor in a Leading Role. The situation affected the cast and crew to such an extent that they set up the Constant Gardener Trust to provide basic education for children of these villages. Fiennes is a patron of the charity. Fiennes is also a patron of the Shakespeare Schools Festival, a charity that enables school children across the UK to perform Shakespeare in professional theatres. That same year, Fiennes voiced Lord Victor Quatermain in the 2005 stop-motion animated comedy Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. The role saw him play a cruel upper-class bounder who courts Lady Toddington and despises Wallace and Gromit. Fiennes gained worldwide prominence for his portrayal as Lord Voldemort, the antagonist in the Harry Potter franchise. His first appearance was in the 2005 fantasy film Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. He returned to the role for 3 other films in the series, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix and both Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. In an interview with Empire magazine, Fiennes said his portrayal of Voldemort was an instinctive, visceral, physical thing. In 2006, Fiennes returned to the stage in Faith Healer alongside Ian McDiarmid. The revival premiered at the Gate Theatre in Dublin before transferring to the Broadway stage at the Booth Theatre. For his performances, Fiennes received a Tony Award nomination for Best Actor in a Play. In 2008, he worked with frequent collaborator director Jonathan Kent, playing the title role in Oedipus the King by Sophocles, at the National Theatre in London. In 2008, he played the Duke of Devonshire in the film The Duchess opposite Keira Knightley. He also played the protagonist in The Reader, adapted from the novel of the same name alongside Kate Winslet. That same year he also appeared in Martin McDonagh's black comedy crime thriller In Bruges starring Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. In February 2009, Fiennes was the special guest of the Belgrade's Film Festival Fest. He filmed his version of Shakespeare's Coriolanus in the Serbian capital of Belgrade. Fiennes reunited with Catherine Bigelow for her Iraq War film The Hurt Locker, released in 2009, appearing as an English private military contractor. They had previously worked together on Strange Days. 2010s. In April 2010, he played Hades in Clash of the Titans, a remake of the 1981 film of the same name. In 2012, he starred in the 23rd James Bond film, Skyfall, directed by Sam Mendes. He replaced Dame Judi Dench as M in subsequent Bond films. In 2013, Fiennes was both the director and the leading actor in the well-received film The Invisible Woman. Though he is not commonly noted as a comic actor, in 2014, Fiennes made an impression for his farcical turn as concierge Monsieur Gustave in Wes Anderson's comedy drama The Grand Budapest Hotel. Fiennes used his time as a young porter at London's Brown's Hotel to help construct the character. A film critic stated, "In the end it's Fiennes who makes the biggest impression. His stylized, rapid-fire delivery, dry wit and cheerful profanity keep the film bubbling along." For his performance, Fiennes was nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor Motion Picture Musical or Comedy and the BAFTA Award for Best Actor. Film magazine Empire ranked Fiennes's portrayal of Gustav the 17th greatest movie character of all time. In 2015, Fiennes starred in Luca Guadagnino's thriller A Bigger Splash alongside Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton. In 2016, Fiennes appeared in the Coen Brothers ensemble comedy film Hail, Caesar, which is set in 1950s Hollywood. Fiennes plays the fictional Lawrence Lawrence, an acclaimed European film director within the movie. That same year, he lent his voice in the stop-motion animated film Kubo and the Two Strings where he played Raiden the Moon King, Kubo's grandfather. In 2017, he voiced the British butler Alfred Pennyworth in the Lego Batman movie and reprised the role in the Lego Movie 2, the second part. In 2018, he directed and starred in The White Crow, a biographical drama film about the Russian ballet dancer Rudolf Nureyev. In 2019, Fiennes played the MI6 agent Norman Derbyshire in Taghi Amirani's feature documentary Coup 53. Derbyshire, who died in 1993, was the co-author of 1953's Operation Ajax, a joint MI6-CIA military coup which overthrew democracy in Iran. 2020s. In 2020, Fiennes voiced a tiger in the family fantasy adventure film Dolittle starring Robert Downey Jr. In the same year, he appeared in the monologue play Beat the Devil by David Hare at the Bridge Theatre in London, and then in the 2021 film version of the play. Also in 2021, he starred in the British drama film The Dig playing the Suffolk archaeologist Basil Brown alongside Carey Mulligan and Lily James. The film received positive reviews with critics praising his performance in the film. Mark Kermode, critic of The Guardian, described Fiennes' portrayal as having an admirable eloquence. Later in 2021, Fiennes also starred in Matthew Vaughn's period spy film The King's Man and Cary Hoji Fukunaga's James Bond film No Time to Die. In 2021, Fiennes returned to the stage in David Hare's latest play Straight Line Crazy at the Bridge Theatre in London. In the play, Fiennes portrays New York's legendary urban planner Robert Moses. His performance has received rave reviews, with Variety declaring, "Fiennes is all boldly convincing, controlled threat, his monomania teetering on the edge of malevolence." In The Guardian's 5-star rave review, critic Mark Lawson described Fiennes' performance as enthralling and an acting triumph. It was announced that the production will make its New York stage debut, off-Broadway at the Shed, running from October to December in 2022. In 2022, Fiennes starred as Julian Slowick in the Mark Mylod directed The Menu. The film is scheduled to be released on November 18, 2022 in the United States. Upcoming projects. Personal life. Fiennes is a UNICEF UK ambassador and has undertaken work in India, Kyrgyzstan, Uganda, and Romania. Fiennes is also a member of the Canadian charity Artists Against Racism. Fiennes met English actress Alex Kingston while they were both students at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. After dating for 10 years, they married in 1993 and divorced in 1997 following his affair with Francesca Annis. Annis and Fiennes announced their separation on February 7, 2006, after 11 years together, in a parting described as acrimonious, following rumors that he had an affair with the Romanian singer Cornelia Crețon. On September 7, 2017, Fiennes was granted Serbian citizenship, which was awarded to him because of his work in the country. The decision was signed by Serbian Prime Minister Ana Brnabić. Fiennes has stated in an interview with the Evening Standard, "I don't collect anything as such. I buy a lot of books and that's the closest I come to collecting anything." Fiennes speaks some Russian, which enabled him to play Alexander Pushkin in The White Crow. In 2007, Fiennes was embroiled in scandal after having sex with a Qantas flight attendant on a flight from Darwin to Mumbai. After initial denials, it was established that they had sex in the plane's lavatory, and the flight attendant's employment was terminated by Qantas. The incident was referenced in the Australian sketch TV show Comedy Inc. Politics. Fiennes opposed the UK leaving the European Union. Following the EU membership referendum in 2016, Fiennes stated, "I'm strongly a Remainer. I think that our connection with Europe, faulty as it may be in its current state, it seems to me that the point of the EU was to take down barriers of interactive trade, culture, talk dynamic between cultures, nations." In a March 2021 interview with the Daily Telegraph, Fiennes expressed defense of J.K. Rowling following backlash against her commentary on transgender people, arguing, "I can't understand the vitriol directed at her. I can understand the heat of an argument, but I find this age of accusation and the need to condemn irrational. I find the level of hatred that people express about views that differ from theirs, and the violence of language towards others, disturbing." Acting credits and accolades.